Sorry. Okay.
For those who missed the earlier part of the recording, we were talking about logistics. So, um, using Google Groups as a communication mechanisms, and shortly we'll be sending out another scheduler so we can get a series scheduled. So that's, and some gratitude for joining the meeting. That's the recap for the first. It's only been like 5 minutes of talking, people who missed. Um, but the couple of updates from IMAC, uh, I want to say the coordinators of the different communities of practice met, I think, just before ALA. And again, it's another kind of like initial meeting, figuring stuff out. This is all a little bit amorphous, so we appreciate your, uh, you know, working at a time of something growing and newly being created. Um, the group IMAC will be presenting at the PCC participants meeting on Thursday, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon. It won't be anything. If you've joined some of these onboarding sessions and other things, it won't be anything particularly new to you, but it could be of interest. And I'll see if the other IMAC folks, like maybe we could just even send the slides to the listserv if folks aren't able to make that meeting. But again, it was just talking about like um, what this program generally is, uh, some of the goals, and I think we had originally thought that we might be ready to say, you know, bring in another group of people or kind of a second cohort, but as uh, particularly as we're sort of getting things going, it doesn't seem like we're kind of necessarily in need of having an official kind of second group come in. We've also been sort of additive as we go. So um, that's what we talked about recently. What was I going to say? Oh, um, just to give sort of the lay of the land, um, we know that the Wikidata group was working off of kind of existing infrastructure from the pilot project and that community. So the ISNI group and our group are in a similar boat of kind of forming, getting some of the basics together. And then there was an other group for other registries, and I think that one hasn't quite solidified into anything just yet. But as um, our groups get uh, more on the road, maybe we have a roadmap we could share with those interested in the other groups. So just to give you kind of a broad sense of what's going on in the IMAC and broader EMCO land. Um, So we were thinking today that we could, last time when we met throughout the question period, and then also again as one of the broader goals of this process, um, we have kind of some pretty basic goals up front is thinking about statistics, getting, documentation together, um, including best practices recommendation. I think a lot of that um, will will be looking to build in some ways. But there were also other ideas that have come up over the first couple of meetings about what questions we have, what we might be wanting to achieve. Um, some just in conversations I've had with folks, how are different registries going to connect with one another? What do we want to see? What do we want to avoid? And so we thought we'd get started with um, this. Oh, I can share it too. Maybe. Yeah, looks like it's going to let me share. Um, oh, and then we can put the link in the chat again.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay, great. It's also in the notes doc. And so we thought that we could just add those to this board. Now, we could certainly do breakout groups if folks prefer kind of like smaller interaction, or we could take as a larger group here, just like take 5 minutes to add to the board. It's really easy. So you would click this plus sign and then you'd say, I have a cool idea. And then you click enter. And then if you're like, oh, I agree with that, or like, I think so too, then you can add, oh, I guess when you click, that's where you click the second one. I thought it would just do it. I guess it opens it up and then you click the thumbs up. And so that's how you could just kind of plus one on that. And then maybe from that, we could see some areas, kind of start identifying some areas that we want to focus on, have some more targeted conversations on, um, things like that. Um, does anybody have a vote for as a whole group, as smaller groups? Um, oh goodness. Sorry, I just did something to the participants menu and everything's a mess now. Okay. All right, then the current executive decision will be let's try larger group. Um, and let's take truly like, 5 minutes. Again, thinking about, all right, we're kind of setting the scene again. What does it mean to put these identifiers into catalog records? What kind of challenges do you see? We had some questions or suggestions around rules for OCLC to check before saving, setting minimum requirements. So anything else like that, I'll just set a timer. And we don't have any nice relaxing music, but let's go ahead and add some sticky notes. And I think we can, if you don't know if yours fits under statistics or outcomes or initiatives, put it under initiatives. This can just be kind of like your general spot here. So 223.
Sophia says she doesn't seem to be able to add any notes.
Okay. Well, I wonder if, oh, who was that? Was that you, Misty, or just,
Sophia,
oh, but somebody just added something. So
maybe try it
I'm
again.
seeing some folks.
And
Okay.
I just added to the initiative, so it was a +1 for the set
Okay.
minimum requirements.
Okay.
Okay, Sophia, can you try it again? Add the plus sign or click on the plus sign.
Yeah, this is how you add the sticky is this big plus sign. And then this one is where you just thumbs up.
Yeah, I can click and add, but then I can't type inside the note.
Oh. Well, if you want to put it in the chat, I'll add it to the board. Unless you want it to be anonymous, in which case send it to me. It won't be anonymous to me, but I will put it on the board.
Hmm. Oh, I like that.
Ah, I realized I muted. Just a couple more come in, so maybe just a few more seconds here. Okay, this is great. I'm really excited to see all of this. Um, so let's maybe take these from, okay, actually I'm seeing some numbers go up, so keep voting because I'm wondering if we start with some of the, I think we should talk through all of them and just for kind of the use of our time, we can start with some of the higher ones and certainly get to those uh, below just to make sure folks can contextualize what they've added if they want to. Okay. Uh-oh, something disappeared for number 5, or the one with 5 votes. Control Z or not. That one might be lost to time forever. Okay. Okay, cool. So thank you for adding these. Thanks for trying out the system. Sorry that for some folks it didn't work. So if we do this again, we'll make sure to kind of troubleshoot or have a backup option. But what we're seeing as, oh, can I not zoom in just for eyeballs here? We can, oh, looks like we could export this. But what we'll do is either export this, put it in a separate doc. I don't know, but maybe we can put this line in the notes and then add anything that's being added by the group. But setting minimum requirements and references for entity creation. Thoughts or comments on that?
Actually, Anne, I had a question on that one, the one that had 9 votes and the one that had 10 votes. And the question is, what's the relationship between the WorldCat entities that we're going to be devising and NACO name authority practices? And to what extent, if we're looking at criteria, is that going to be duplicative work?
One thought that I have that's open to conversation is there could be part of NACO rules or processes that folks you may want to adopt. Like I think it certainly sounds like a good place to start. And then are there any departures that the group wants to make based on, whatever particular reason?
Okay.
Now so NACO has, at least currently, I know there are some recommendations that the privacy group has made around, say, connecting a pseudonym to another name. Maybe this group says, hey, I like a lot of NACO. Here's where we see, that, that we could make a change or improvement or something like that. So that's kind of one of the ways that I've been thinking about it.
Already
Okay.
the way the name is formed is a departure because it's in direct order. So we already know that we're not doing it, so that is a big departure already.
No,
So
that
there will
makes
be
sense. Yeah.
differences. And, do we want to have, if we say where a person is born, do we want to just put a name there? Or are we supposed to take a name from some control vocabulary or not? There's a lot to explore for sure.
hmm hmm Well, that's what makes it very exciting. And I just wanted to make sure that that was so where we're going in that direction is actually determining the criteria that we were going to use in creating these. And it will be a departure from NACO practices to some extent.
But at the same time, we don't want to make it so prescriptive that a bunch of people will not be able to participate. I can see in our institution, maybe we want some of our catalog assistant to create some of these records because they don't have to be as trained as NACO catalogers. So we can't make it too difficult because if
Right.
it just becomes another NACO with different rules, then
And there is the possibility that, in just thinking out loud, like perhaps there's a general agreement in, say, the PCC groups or those who want to, like, these are those best practices. And if someone else is working in this, they can certainly refer to like these as oh, okay, this is what most people are doing. But in this case, our institution or we don't need to capture this or something like that. I could see that potentially being or something to consider.
Hi, Anne. This is Amanda. Hi. I have an urgent question. If I create an entity, WorldCat entity for a person in Meridian, will it integrated with my Alma environment? How could the Alma environment leverage that integration automatically? Thank you. I would like it to reflect it in the discovery, and for entity, in Alma. I know I can work with ex-libris on this, but I would like to know OCLC side what you can do on this.
Yeah, so in this exercise, I'm in my kind of EMCO hat, one thing I think of is maybe even broadening this. So like, what are the gaps or needs of folks as they're working in the workflows? Like for a tool like this or managing and working with entities like that, what are your needs and requirements? So I think, Amanda, that's a great point of like, we're using Alma. I'd like to see it work as X. Maybe that's something that could come out of this group of as well of like uh general asks on a service provider direction. So I can tell you the OCLC answer later, but in general, as the work of the group, that's the one of the ideas I put on here was like LSP integration interoperability. I think if other folks have thoughts or questions.
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer your question yet.
Okay.
but I think that's something I'd like to see surface from the community as well.
Second question I have is a scalability for the creation of entity. How scalable if I have 2,000 personal names and if I have, 6 million personal names, how does it handled in Meridian?
Is scalability something, I'm going to add that here as like working in a bulk manner or batch. Is that something that will typically come up in your
Yeah, we work in
workflows?
batch. We work in batch or API. Yeah.
I'm adding it to the board here so that if people want to +1 it, feel free. So thanks, Amanda. So it sounds like this requirements this, and then it also includes references. And I thought I saw another suggestion. Here's like identify core fields, useful fields, possible
Yeah.
properties. I think these kind of go hand in hand. Any other thoughts about requirements? I think I've heard some good, I think was that Dominique had some kind of insights on that as well. Anyone else?
Looks to me like that there's a few things that reference that idea of what the sourcing information and requirements around that, sort of stated in slightly different ways.
Yeah, yes, that's what I was thinking I saw as well. So thank you. Oh, this one here. Yep. So if folks want to add to the chat as well, if or the notes, if there are other thoughts that come to mind around minimum requirements, shaping some of that, uh, feel free to add. But
Yeah,
it does look
I have another one to add here. That is uh, the disambiguity techniques, such as using fast, uh, assign fast to the heading that I created automatically. Like I have Alan Jones, but Alan Jones could be a musician or it can be a economist, and I would like to be able to differentiate the two, um, you know, through fast heading assignment. Thank you.
great. I've added that note in to I added into so in the meeting notes, I just started adding like basically the sticky note title and then some notes underneath it. So thanks.
May I add something? My name is Tatiana.
Yeah. Hi.
I was a participant of different modifications of NACO, so to speak, ISME and all other projects within the PCC. And I would say if we're talking about entities and properties, I would say maybe for the minimal requirements will be okay to decide how many properties we should assign to each name to tell apart between them. That's the thing, because before we tried all possible, all these 370 fields in the NAR, then ISME approach was completely different through the identifier, right? Then all the manipulations with the names within the database, trying like to use the form of a name as an identifier, which complicates the NACO training and teaching people and all that, But I believe that it's not necessarily supposed to be either form of a name or the subject or something else. It could be a combination, a reasonable combination. I think that we need to decide how many, like for example, if subject, then for the form of a name, or maybe something else, how we identify a person. Because we have now this identification only in another OCLC database, right? For identities, we can look up there and see what kind of processes they are using, and maybe borrow that to our database of future activities. Sorry, thank you.
No, thanks, Tatiana. That's really insightful from your like very broad experience across these different things. So I think that brings a good insight into this. So yeah, that's great. And then I see Emily put in the chat. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
Application. Yes. Do you want to talk about this in real time, or shall I read your comment?
I'll go ahead and say yes, there are some new NISO standards that are emerging around sort of tagging metadata as human versus AI generated. And I just thought thinking about requirements leading the curve there, one small sort of completely left field thing, maybe, and apologies if I'm redundant because I am very late. An emergency conflict, but thank you.
No, I think that's if folks have been involved in some other conversations around AI enhancements and things like that, being able to distinguish what was done by a certain process is really good idea. I added it separately as like a sticky note here in initiatives, but uh, however we want to put it, but it just needs to be captured. So that's great. Thanks, Emily.
I have a question about guidelines on what system to use to create an identity. I wonder if we can get clarification on that from whoever. I'm not sure what that's referring to.
That was me, Sophia. So what I was trying to say clearly didn't do a very good job is that most of us work in multiple systems at the same time. So each library, when needing to create an identity, will have to make a decision if it should be Maker record, Meridian record, the Wikidata record. And some of that conversation had already happened. Maker has higher standards, but then perhaps wouldn't make sense to create the same identity in multiple systems. So when we talk to catalogers who work in production environment, we'll have to offer guidelines for how they should handle different situations. And that's what I was trying to say.
Oh, great. That's something I hadn't even thought of. Thank you.
Dominique,
Thanks. I just heard like a sound. I didn't know what it meant. It means a hand raise.
Yeah, so one thing I'd like to know, which I don't know if it can go into initiative, not everybody who's here has access to this system to create entity and edit them, but there's still people that are interested. So I'd be curious to know how they will use the system and what they're going to do with it. Yeah, we just got permission to use it for 1 year to investigate, and so that's part of our what we're going to do, but it would be nice to know what other people, how people can use it if they cannot edit and create records. So I don't know if anybody who's in this group is in this situation and they have ideas, but I'd surely like to know because it's with the cost that's associated to with the system, unlike Wikidata, that limits who can have access to it, to the editing power.
Yes, I know. We just agreed to purchase it, but it's going to take a while. I don't think our access is going to start until September, so I'm concerned about that too.
One thing that seems related to this conversation could be suggesting how these entities could be used to enhance WorldCat patron-facing display. That also got a number of votes, and I think that could probably span those working with and creating entities and other users who might be like using them in a system. I don't know, I'm not sure who wrote that or if that at all is an intersection, but came to mind. Josh, you want me to read your comment or do you want to?
Yeah, sorry,
Um,
I can explain it. So
yeah.
I'm coming from USC, the University of Southern California. We don't have access to Meridian. I think at this point it's fairly unlikely that we're going to be investing in it, but we're interested to see whether like we should and how it might be used. I think the other thing that we're thinking about is whether we can exploit the data that those who do have access to that system are creating in our systems, but make use of all types of WorldCat data, whether that's entity data or bibliographic data.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful because the WorldCat entity data is available to reference um like freely. So yeah, either kind of through each identifier or if you have a whiz key. So thanks, Josh. That's helpful. And Isabel, it sounds like you had I don't know if you want to speak, but it sounds like you have kind of a similar approach or as Josh.
I'm sort of seeing two two sides to this. One is the actual application itself, and then one is how it's going to work out in the world. Um, so I guess I'm kind of separating out those two categories, but just an observation.
Yeah, that's um I I was typing something when you first started your comment. I'm sorry. Could you say it again? Because I was finishing a note.
Oh, sure. So that it seems like there's sort of two subjects going on. One is specifically how the work will happen in Meridian, and the other is how Meridian is going to interface with other systems.
Yeah, yeah. And the maybe even the data interfacing, like the with other systems. Yeah, that's great. We did get so aside from kind of the minimum entity creation, we got a good number of interest in suggesting how they could be used to enhance WorldCat or perhaps other patron-facing displays, suggestions for OCLC. Anyone have any other thoughts about that?
Yeah, I have thoughts about West Virginia University OCLC work with them. And I thought if it's possible to share what has been captured in their spreadsheet, we can use that spreadsheet as a template to create our own entities. And then hopefully OCLC will come up with tools to allow us to batch upload them. Yeah, that's the scalability that I was thinking about. Share the templates that developed by University West Virginia University. Is that right? I saw the talk just before AOA, before Eluna. I think on June 18, there's a webinar on how it was done. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'll jump in again. Sorry, Anne. I'm glad that either Cyprus also had an emergency come up today, so West Virginia University is limping today. But
Hopefully not on fire. But
no, it's not on fire. We have two completely unrelated personal issues. But I really apologize for that. And in any case, I'm glad I'm here to say that yes, we would be very, very happy to share not only that template, but kind of you know, a more step-by-step process of what we did than I was able to lay out in a linear fashion in that presentation, trying to fit in everything in that we did. But yeah, that's definitely something I'm trying to put together so that we can repeat the same process to get basically any uncontrolled heading in our holdings into Meridian if we're able to subscribe. So yeah, I'll be doing that anyway, and I'd be happy to share. Is there I would say I could put that together potentially within a month.
That would be very helpful, timely and helpful. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Emily Field. Could you put your email address on the
Absolutely.
chat? Thank you.
Sure. Uh-huh.
And then we got another request from Paula about the presentation. Is there a link?
So that was the research information one. I think that was on June 18th. So let me see if I can, I mean, I think it's fine if I just like throw my slides in chat. Is that okay? Let me
That's
dig
fine.
them
And then
up.
we also have, let me get you the notes document. Here's the notes document. And then you could put them in there. What was I going to say? Uh, if you came in just after we started, we talked about we're going to put together a Google group and have that be sort of the mailing list. So then that's
Nice.
another way that you could just say, hey, I've uploaded the slides, or if you share them in the chat, cool, but we can add them to the doc too. So
Okay, yeah, I'll try to get them both places here if I can dig them up fast enough to put them, give people a peek preview now from chat. Um,
awesome. Well, I think, can continue that. I do want to, well, let's finish talking about, any other thoughts about suggesting how the entities could be used to enhance kind of patron-facing things? I think, again, that could be something that folks who may not have a subscription to the service, but uh, WorldCat is available otherwise. Um, I think that could be a cool outcome. Well, since we're rolling up to the end here, I think what we can do is sort of continue this conversation next time we meet, slash asynchronously. I think probably you, Misty, Jill, and I will meet. This was super great, I think, to see a lot of this brainstorm. I think I'm very excited to have some of this work get started. I did want to mention now I'm putting my OCLC hat on, that you all met Jeff, or folks met Jeff last time when he gave a demo. But we've been working hard to find ways to support EMCO and its goals, by seeing if there were some different, things we could do to make Meridian more accessible. And I'm glad to say that for folks who had signed up for this group, on the roster and things like that, we have the possibility of, I can't think of the word. Basically a price reduction. And so that would be something that and that would be like in a development partnership. So it's working at the same aims as this, but basically what we'd plan for is maybe identifying kind of a at least one project. Certainly folks could work on other things with Meridian, but we'd identify kind of a controlled, project or area of exploration. And you know, OCLC can help support that, and provides discounted access to Meridian. So if that's something that folks are interested in, you can email Jeff. Oh, I gotta make sure this is his email address. And I'll also put that in the notes doc. And so then what we'll do is we can meet up with you, whoever maybe needs to participate in those decisions, along with your OCLC solutions person and we can kind of figure out a plan and things like that. So, what am I doing? I'm trying to find Jeff's, make sure that I'm gonna get Jeff's email right. Yeah. So if you have, and then you could CC me if you want. So great. It looks like Emily put your slides in the chat, and then I've got those email addresses. If you're interested in some more information about that, just get in touch with us. So that's my OCLC update. Okay, back to iMac person. Misty, anything else you want to? I think our action items are, I want to make sure that we capture these things. I don't think idea board will like disappear, but we can put these in the notes for those who are watching the recording. And we'll be getting the Google group together. We'll send out another poll that will, I think most of the group had Monday selected as kind of a good day for them. So let's try that. And then I like in that rally poll that you sent out last time, Misty, there's like a comments thing at the bottom. So that was helpful to add any comments like, you know, Mondays will never work for me, in which case maybe we have to alternate or something like that. So we'll get those types of things sent out, and then I will send out the slides for Thursday's update unless those get sent out through the broader EMCO list. And I gotta write that down. Okay. And anything else, Misty?
I don't think so.
Okay, anything else? Anyone else? Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation in that brainstorming. I think that was super valuable. I'm excited to keep talking about all of these things. So
Thank you.
great.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you next month.